Imagine you're house hunting, right? And the agent showing you properties. They seem incredibly helpful, offering all sorts of advice.
Uh-huh.
You naturally assume they're working solely for your best interests,
Yeah,
don't you?
most people do, yeah.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a crucial area of real estate that might just reshape that assumption. It's all about understanding who actually represents whom and the very specific duties agents owe you.
That's exactly right. Our focus today is agency and property disclosures in real estate, drawing directly from, well, foundational principles.
Okay.
We're going to try and untangle this complex web of relationships in real estate transactions, what agents can and can't do, and the vital information owners absolutely must share about their properties.
So our mission for this deep dive really is to give you a clear, concise shortcut to these essential real estate concepts.
Hmm,
By the end, you'll be much better equipped, hopefully, to navigate transactions with confidence and maybe avoid some common pitfalls.
that's the goal.
So, okay, let's unpack this idea of agency first. In real estate, it's more than just like a casual arrangement.
Oh, much more.
It's a legal relationship built on trust. So, what are the fundamental roles we absolutely need to get our heads around?
Okay, at its core, we're looking at three main players:
Mm-hmm.
the agent, the principal or client, and then the customer.
Agent, principal, client, customer. Got it.
Right. The principal or client, that's the person who hires the agent. They're the one the agent owes the highest level of legal obligations to, what we call fiduciary duties.
Judiciary duties.
The
Okay.
agent is the licensed professional representing that principal. And then we have the customer, that's someone who uses a licensee's services. Maybe they call about a listing, but they haven't established that formal legal agency relationship.
Okay, and this distinction, customer versus client, this is where it gets really important for anyone buying or selling, right?
Absolutely crucial.
So what must a licensee do, even for just a customer? And what's the bare minimum?
Well, our source makes it quite clear. Even for a customer, they have to present all offers promptly. They need to properly handle any money or property they receive.
Right. Accounting.
Exactly. They have to explain the different brokerage relationships and services available. They must be fair and honest.
Fairness and honesty, even to a customer.
Okay. Provide accurate information. Keep certain info confidential if the law requires it, and this is a big one. Disclose any known material facts about the property itself.
Wow. That's a surprisingly robust baseline, even if you haven't signed an agency agreement.
It truly is a baseline, but now contrast that with the elevated responsibilities owed to a client. These are those fiduciary duties we mentioned.
Okay, so what does that add?
It adds quite a bit. We're
Yeah.
talking reasonable care and diligence, obedience to lawful instructions, proper accounting, undivided loyalty.
Undivided loyalty. That sounds pretty absolute.
It is full disclosure within legal bounds, of course, and critically, confidentiality. And get this, that confidentiality lasts forever, even after your transaction is long over.
Forever.
Is-
Seriously.
Seriously, what you tell your agent in confidence generally stays confidential indefinitely, with few exceptions.
Wow. Okay. And I assume if these elevated duties are breached, there are consequences.
Oh, absolutely. The consequences for the agent can be severe. They could forfeit their entire commission. They could face actual and punitive damages, which, by the way, are often not covered by their professional errors and omissions insurance.
Really? Not covered.
Often not, especially for breaches of loyalty or intentional wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And in serious cases, they could even lose their license.
Yeah.
It really highlights the immense trust involved in these client relationships.
Okay, so given these different levels of service, these varying duties, it makes sense that there must be different kinds of agency relationships out there, right?
Exactly. The structure matters.
How do these actually, manifest for buyers and sellers? What types are there?
Right. Our source outlines several permissible types. First, you've got the most straightforward, the single agent.
Okay, single agent. Like it sounds.
Pretty much. The agent exclusively represents either the buyer or the seller in that specific transaction. Clear lines.
Simple enough. What else?
Then we have the transaction broker. Now, this one's a bit different.
How so?
It's often referred to as a non-agency relationship. Here, the agent acts more like a neutral facilitator between the parties.
A facilitator. Like a referee.
Sort of, yeah. They still owe duties like reasonable care, proper accounting, general honesty. But their core duty regarding information is limited confidentiality.
Okay, limited confidentiality. We need to unpack that. What does that actually mean for me, the consumer? If my agent's confidentiality is limited, what can they reveal?
That's the key question. Our source is very specific here. A transaction broker cannot disclose certain things unless required by law. For example, a buyer's true motivation to buy or their willingness to maybe offer more money.
Oh, okay. Can't spill the beans on negotiation strategy.
Exactly. Same on the seller side. Their motivation to sell, their readiness to potentially accept less than asking price, or if they've agreed to different financing terms in the past.
Got it. What else?
And importantly, any other information you specifically ask the transaction broker to keep confidential unless the law absolutely requires its disclosure.
Okay. So it's not wide open, but it's definitely not the same level of secrecy as with a full client relationship.
Precisely. And here's a crucial point, especially for our listeners in South Carolina. State law presumes a licensee is acting as a transaction broker right from the moment you have what's called substantive contact.
Whoa, okay. Presumed. So what counts as substantive contact? Is it just saying hello?
No, not just casual chat. It's when your conversation moves beyond small talk into meaningful discussions about, say, your specific buying or selling motives, your financial qualifications, or any other confidential information that could potentially harm your bargaining position if revealed.
So the minute you start talking real details about your situation, the law might already see that agent as a transaction broker, unless you agree otherwise in writing.
That's the presumption, yes. It's important to be aware of that shift.
Okay. What other types of relationships are there?
Building on that, we have dual agency. This comes up when one agent, or sometimes different agents, but within the same real estate firm, ends up representing both the buyer and the seller in the same deal. An in-house transaction.
Both sides. Represented by the same company.
Yes. And this arrangement always requires full disclosure and, crucially, the informed consent of both the buyer and the seller.
Okay, this immediately raises a flag for me. If an agent's fundamental duty to a client is undivided loyalty, like you said, how can they possibly represent both sides effectively? Isn't that an inherent conflict?
It absolutely is an inherent conflict.
Yeah.
Our source points this out directly. Those core fiduciary duties, loyalty, full disclosure, confidentiality, they're all impacted. It can potentially lead to unequal treatment, even unintentionally.
So what's the key insight here for you listening?
The key insight is that while dual agency might seem efficient, maybe you like the agent or the firm, you must be hyper-aware that your agent's loyalty is now legally divided. Their ability to advocate solely for your absolute best interests is curtailed by law in this setup.
So it's not just a legal footnote. It could mean, what, maybe not pushing for the lowest price if you're the buyer, or not disclosing something helpful because it might hurt the other party they also represent?
Precisely. It could mean money left on the table or crucial negotiating information not being shared because the agent has conflicting duties. It's a trade-off.
Can you even agree to that? Can you say, okay, I understand you can't be fully loyal?
Yes, you can. The source clarifies that clients can agree, in writing, as part of the dual agency consent, to modify the brokerage company's fiduciary duties, specifically to eliminate that undivided loyalty and full disclosure aspect.
Wow, okay, so understanding that modification is critical if you ever encounter a dual agency situation.
Extremely important. And then finally, there's a related concept called designated agency.
Designated agency, how is that different from dual?
It's another type of in-house transaction, meaning the buyer and seller are represented by agents from the same brokerage firm. But here's the key difference. Separate agents within that firm are specifically designated, one to represent the buyer, one to represent the seller.
Ah, so different people within the same company.
Correct. And each designated agent is supposed to provide full client-level service, including those fiduciary duties like loyalty and confidentiality, only to their designated client.
Okay, what's the benefit there? Does it solve the conflict issue?
It's designed to mitigate it significantly. Our source highlights a major benefit. It legally removes imputed knowledge from the firm.
Imputed knowledge. What's that again?
We'll get into that more, but basically, it means confidential information known by the buyer's designated agent isn't automatically assumed to be known by the seller's designated agent, or vice versa, even though they work for the same company.
So it tries to create firewalls within the firm.
Exactly. It attempts to maintain separate loyalties within one company. Though the source does caution, there's always a theoretical possibility confidential information could still be improperly shared, but legally, the knowledge isn't automatically imputed.
Okay, that makes sense. It's an attempt to get the benefits of single agency within one firm.
You could see it that way, yes.
Now, you might assume these agency relationships only kick off when you sign a piece of paper, right? A listing agreement or a buyer agency agreement.
That's the common assumption.
But our sources reveal this fascinating and frankly